I don't want him here. This is supposed to be a perfect party. Amanda's voice rang across her perfectly manicured backyard, making heads turn. My 8-year-old son, Oliver, gripped my hand tighter, his other hand clutching the birthday gift he had carefully picked for his cousin Emma. My name is Jessica, and I never thought I'd see my sister-in-law publicly humiliate my son at her daughter's birthday party. Oliver has cerebral palsy and uses a walker, but his brilliant mind and kind heart make him the sweetest child you could meet. Amanda, he's your nephew, I said quietly, trying to keep my voice steady. He just wants to give Emma her present. I don't care, she snapped, her perfectly styled hair bouncing as she gestured wildly. Look at all these people, important people from our neighborhood. I can't have him. She lowered her voice to a harsh whisper, spoiling everything with that walker. What will people think? I felt Oliver trembling beside me and my heart shattered. The other parents were starting to stare, some even filming with their phones, probably for their social media stories. Emma, wearing her princess dress, stood frozen by the bouncy castle, looking confused and upset. It's okay, Mommy, Oliver whispered, his voice quivering. We can go home. That was when something in me snapped, not in anger, but in clarity. I'd spent 5 years trying to maintain peace with Amanda, enduring her subtle jabs about Oliver's condition, her convenient forgetting to invite us to family events, her constant remarks about how difficult it must be to have a child like mine. You're right, sweetheart, I said to Oliver, keeping my voice warm and loving. We will go home. But first, I reached into my bag and pulled out my phone. I'd been recording the whole interaction ever since Amanda's initial cold greeting, something I had started doing months ago on my husband's advice. Amanda's eyes widened as she noticed my phone. What are you doing? Just making memories, I said calmly, stopping the recording. Emma, honey, Oliver brought you a special gift. He picked it out himself. I handed the beautifully wrapped package to my niece, who ran forward to take it, giving Oliver a quick hug before her mother pulled her back. Get out, Amanda hissed, and don't you dare share that video. I smiled, helping Oliver turn his walker around. You know, Amanda, sometimes the perfect moments aren't the ones we plan, but the ones that show who we really are. As we walked away, I heard murmurs from the other parents. One mom called out, "Wait, let the boys stay, we don't mind." But I kept walking. This wasn't about proving a point or causing a scene. This was about teaching my son that his worth wasn't determined by people like Amanda. In the car, Oliver was quiet for a moment before asking, "Why doesn't Aunt Amanda like me, Mommy?" I turned to face him, seeing the hurt in his beautiful brown eyes. Sweetheart, some people are so worried about how things look that they forget to see how things feel. But you know what? You are perfect exactly as you are. That evening, as Oliver played with his Legos, I sat at my computer, looking at the video I had recorded. My hands hovered over the keyboard as I debated what to do next. My husband, Tom, Oliver's stepfather, watched it with me, his jaw clenching with each of his sister's cruel words. Post it, he said finally, not for revenge, but because people like Oliver need to know they're not alone. And people like Amanda need to know they can't treat others this way anymore. I took a deep breath and started typing, crafting a simple, honest post about our experience. No accusations, no anger, just the truth about a young boy being turned away from his cousin's party because he didn't fit someone's idea of perfection. Are you sure? I asked Tom, my finger hovering over the post button. He nodded, watching Oliver happily build his Lego creation. Sometimes the right thing isn't the easy thing, but it's still right. I pressed post and closed my laptop, not knowing that by morning, our story would reach far beyond our small community, touching hearts and changing lives in ways I never expected. Little did Amanda know, her perfect party would become the catalyst for something much bigger than any of us could have imagined. I woke up the next morning to my phone buzzing nonstop. The video had gone viral overnight, with over 200,000 shares and counting. Comments flooded in from around the world, parents of disabled children sharing their own stories, disability advocates offering support, and countless messages condemning Amanda's behavior. Mom, look, Oliver called from the living room, where he was watching his favorite cartoon. That's us on the morning news. Sure enough, a local news station was running the story. They had pieced together not just my video, but clips from other parents at the party showing multiple angles of Amanda's meltdown. The headline read, "Local birthday party becomes spotlight for disability discrimination." My phone rang. It was my mother-in-law, Susan. Jessica, I just saw the news, she said, her voice shaking. I had no idea Amanda could be so. I'm so sorry. Is Oliver okay? Before I could answer, another call beeped through. Amanda. I declined it, watching as text messages from her flooded my screen. Take it down now. You're destroying my reputation. My friends are canceling playdates with Emma. How could you do this to your own family? Tom placed a hand on my shoulder, reading the messages. She's still not getting it, is she? It's all about her image. The doorbell rang. Outside stood Emma, tears streaming down her face, clutching the gift Oliver had given her. A custom-made storybook about a princess who discovers her kingdom's greatest hero is her cousin, who uses a walker. I opened it this morning, Emma sniffled. Can I please play with Oliver? Mommy's been crying and yelling at her phone all day. My heart melted. Of course, sweetie. Does your mom know you're here? Grandma brought me, she said, pointing to Susan's car and driveway. Mommy's too busy calling her lawyer. As the kids played together, my phone kept buzzing. A major disability rights organization wanted to feature Oliver in their campaign. Local businesses were reaching out, offering to host an inclusive birthday party for both Oliver and Emma. Teachers from Emma's school were messaging about implementing disability awareness programs. Amanda's perfect party had unintentionally sparked a community-wide conversation about inclusion and acceptance. That afternoon, Tom's father called a family meeting. Amanda arrived looking disheveled, her perfect image cracking. Emma ran to hug Oliver the moment we walked in, ignoring her mother's attempt to stop her. This ends now, Tom's father announced, his voice firm. Amanda, you're going to listen without interrupting. He played the video on their large TV, making Amanda watch as her actions were displayed for the family to see. With each passing moment, her face grew paler. That's not. I didn't mean, she stammered. Yes, you did, Susan cut in. You've been doing this to Oliver for years. We just didn't want to see it. But now, everyone sees it. Emma looked up from her play with Oliver. Mommy, is this why Tyler from my class stopped coming to our house? His brother uses a wheelchair, and he said his mom doesn't want them around mean people. Amanda's perfect world was crumbling, and for the first time, she seemed to realize the true cost of her actions. But this wasn't the end of our story, it was just the beginning of a change none of us saw coming. A week after the video went viral, life had changed dramatically. The local community center reached out to host an inclusive Unity birthday party for both Oliver and Emma, complete with accessible games and activities for children of all abilities. The response was overwhelming. Over 200 families RSVP'd. Meanwhile, Amanda had gone from social media darling to pariah. Her carefully curated image as the perfect mother had crumbled as more stories emerged from other parents. Apparently, Oliver wasn't the only child she'd excluded from events over the years. The morning of the Unity party, I received an unexpected visit. Amanda stood on my doorstep, looking nothing like her usual polished self. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I let her in, watching as Oliver played in the living room with his new friends, kids from the neighborhood who had never visited before the video went public. "I lost my job," Amanda said, sinking into a kitchen chair. "The real estate company said they can't have someone representing them who discriminates against disabled clients. Emma's private school called. They're reviewing her enrollment unless I complete sensitivity training." I pushed a cup of coffee toward her. "What do you want, Amanda?" "I want." She paused, watching Oliver laugh with his friends. "I want to understand how I got it so wrong. Emma misses Oliver. She keeps asking why I'm a mean person. My own daughter is ashamed of me." For the first time, I saw real tears in Amanda's eyes, not the performative ones she usually displayed at family gatherings. "The party today," she continued, her voice unsteady. Would you let Emma attend? And maybe I could help. I need to do better. For Emma, for Oliver, for everyone I've hurt." The Unity party that afternoon was everything Amanda's perfect party wasn't. Children of all abilities played together on accessible equipment. Oliver gave a speech that left not a dry eye in the house. Local news covered the event, but this time the story was about inclusion and community. Amanda stood in the background, helping quietly where needed. She watched as Emma and Oliver led other kids in adaptive games, teaching them how to include everyone. The perfect princess party she had planned paled in comparison to this genuine celebration of joy and acceptance. Months have passed since then. Amanda's journey to understanding hasn't been easy, but she's trying. She enrolled in disability advocacy courses and now volunteers at the local children's hospital. Hannah's birthday parties are now known for being the most inclusive in the neighborhood. Last week, during a family dinner, Oliver asked Amanda to help him with his science project about adaptive technology. The smile on her face was real this time, not the picture-perfect one she used to wear. "You know," she said to me later, "I spent so much time trying to create perfect moments that I miss all the truly beautiful ones. Oliver taught me that perfect isn't about how things look, it's about how they feel." The video that went viral still circles the internet, but now it's accompanied by a follow-up. Amanda speaking at disability awareness events, sharing her story of learning and change. Oliver sits in the front row at every speech, cheering on the aunt who finally learned to see him for who he really is. As for our family, we're stronger now, not despite our differences, but because of them. Oliver's walker is no longer something to hide. It's just part of who he is, like Emma's curly hair or Tom's laugh. Sometimes the most powerful changes come from the moments we least expect. What started as a birthday party disaster became a catalyst for transformation, not just for Amanda, but for our entire community. Oliver summed it up best in his latest school essay. "My aunt used to think perfect meant everything had to look right. Now she knows perfect is when everyone feels like they belong. And really, isn't that the kind of perfection worth striving for?"